please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are thankful for this special community, for the time we share together in the bounty of our nation. We are thankful for the commitment of our people who volunteer their time and talents to make our community a better place to live, work, and raise a family. We know that we alone cannot meet the challenges or provide sufficient inspiration without community involvement and the dedication of all concerned to the greater good of the city and all who reside in it. We are thankful for this time and for the place that is Frostburg. Amen.
Amen. Y'all may be seated. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Commissioner Donnie Carter,
Here.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Here.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Here.
Mayor Robert Flanagan,
Here.
Commissioner Nina Forsythe is absent.
All right. We need a motion and a second to approve the agenda as written.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And also a motion and second to approve the minutes from our past meetings.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the March council meeting.
Second.
Comment?
We can-
Comment?
Go ahead.
As I recall, last month I made comments, and those comments aren't registered here.
They are under item 12. I'm sorry. The comments regarding the regular items aren't included in the minutes. There's two reasons for this. One is the minutes don't need to include that, but the second reason is because the live stream is provided and the city has no obligation under the Maryland Public Information Act to prepare minutes when a meeting is live streamed and recorded and available during and after the meeting. So these minutes reflect a much shorter version of the minutes that just show the formal actions taken by the mayor and council. Because your comments are all held in perpetuity on the internet that's readily accessible to the public.
All in favor?
Aye.
Special presentation we'll push back, so we'll go to Maryland Commissioners' reports. We need a motion and a second to approve the reports from the various city departments.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly reports.
Second. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And then we move to public hearings.
Okay. The first public hearing this evening is to make the citizens aware that we intend to apply for Community Development Block Grant Funding, or Cdbg. Cdbg funding is passed through federal funding from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development that is administered by the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. For fiscal year 2023, Maryland has $7,757,692 available statewide for Cdbg projects, with about $6,542,585 available for community development projects, and the city is eligible to apply for up to $800,000. The types of projects that can be funded by Cdbg are limited and must meet one of the three national objectives, which are benefit low and moderate income persons, prevention of elimination of slums or blight, or address community development needs having particular urgency, because existing conditions pose a serious and immediate threat to the health or welfare of the community for which other funding is not available. Projects generally involve housing, public facilities, which would include water, sewer, childcare, senior, and community-type centers and shelters, and economic development projects. Past CDBG projects in Frostburg, the Frostburg Fire Department Price Station, Savage Springs and Wells Rehab, generators at the water treatment plant and springs, and the raw water reservoir lining. The city seeks to apply for Cdbg funding for the construction of a new child care facility in Frostburg. This project is currently being designed with American Rescue Plan Act funds by Bennett Brewer and Associates. The facility will operate as a partnership between the city and HRDC. The facility will allow HRDC to relocate their Head Start program from Bell Elementary to a new facility. This is for 3 to 5-year-olds during the school year. The facility will also allow HRDC to expand their offerings in Frostburg and introduce an early Head Start program for up to 8 children that serves children ages 6 weeks to 3 years old. This program would be offered year-round. The Head Start programs serve at least 90% of their clientele have to be living at or below the poverty level. The Head Start space will be shared with the Frostburg Day Camp and will provide an adequate indoor space to hold the day camp, which typically serves 25 to 30 children during the summer, ages 5 to 12. The estimated construction cost is $900,000. Notice of this public hearing has appeared in the Cumberland Times News on Saturday, April 16th, and was posted on the city's website and Facebook page. A draft of the city's application for funding will be available for review and comments from May 17th through June 1st here at City Hall between 8 and 4 p.m. At this time, we seek public comment regarding the proposed project as well as other projects that could be funded with Cdbg funding. Those wishing to comment should come to the podium, sign in on the sign-in sheet provided, and state your name and address for the record.
Lisa Van Houten, 318 Bernard. Do we have a location for this childcare?
Yes, it would be in the community park near the pool building.
Okay. Square footage, anything like that?
If I recall correctly, it's around 3,200 square feet, but I have plans here if you would like to review them.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Hey, let's finish up.
We're still. Oh, we're there,
Yeah.
unless we want to go back to.
Yeah.
do the real-
I was gonna say, we're gonna finish up old business and then we'll start new business with Julie.
Maybe we still got another public hearing.
Yeah, right. Hayden? You good, Hayden?
Thank you. This evening, we'll be having our constant yield tax rate hearing.
Oh.
The public was notified of this hearing through an advertisement in the Cumberland Times News on Friday, April 1st, 2022. The mayor and city council of the city of Frostburg proposed to increase real property taxes. For the tax year beginning July 1, 2022, the estimated real property assessable base will increase by 1.9% from $358,488,277 to $365,357,456. If the city of Frostburg maintains the current tax rate of 70 cents for $100 of assessment, real property tax revenues will increase by 1.9%, resulting in $48,084 of new real property tax revenues. In order to fully offset the effect of increasing assessments, the real property tax rate should be reduced to 68.68 cents, the constant yield tax rate. The city is considering not reducing its real property tax rate enough to fully offset increasing assessments. The city proposes to adopt a real property tax rate of 70 cents for $100 of assessment. This tax rate is 1.9% higher than the constant yield tax rate and will generate $48,084 in additional property tax revenues. At this time, the public is invited to offer their comments regarding the constant yield tax rate. They can go to the podium, state their name and address for the record.
Anyone?
As I understand it, we have $2.4 million coming from the ARPA fund.
8.4.
8.4 from the ARPA fund?
In total.
Wow. Okay. How has that been spent so far?
The city has undertaken various projects beginning with July 1, 2021. Some of those projects include purchase of a new vac truck. We have also done numerous repairs and projects at the water treatment plant, Piney Dam, other sewer infrastructure projects.
So
It
this
is-
money has already been spent.
Some of it has been budgeted and spent in the current fiscal year. For the next fiscal year for which the budget ordinance is being presented, approximately $2.4 million of projects will be included in that next year.
Okay, all right. So you're telling me that basically $6 million is going to be spent this year.
We have through December 31st, 2024 to obligate the funds,
Okay,
and through December 31st, 2026 to spend the funds.
okay.
Any funds not spent and obligated in that time frame would be returned to the federal government.
Okay, all right. I'm just making notes here. With all this money coming in, as well as money coming from Columbia Gas for repaving our streets, why are we raising taxes now until all that money has been spent?
The tax rate of 70 cents per $100 of assessment is the same rate that is in effect for the current year.
Mhm.
The city's been very diligent with our budgeting process that we would need to be able to maintain a level of funding over normal operating expenses when the federal funding is over. So the money that's being allocated out of the ARPA funds, approximately $2.4 million in next year's budget, there are matching projects to that funding.
So the city has to match the 2.4 million? Or
No.
is this just essentially a federal government saying, here's 2.4 million, go spend it on allowable expenses?
There are eligible use categories
Mm-hmm,
for this federal funding. There's an extensive list,
mm-hmm,
but the city is being careful that the funds are used in that way.
mm-hmm.
There is a standard allowance that the city can elect as far as the reporting purposes of these federal funds.
Mm-hmm.
So our
So-
first report is
so
due
we're-
next week.
Our current budget doesn't involve any of those allowable projects.
Yes, it does. It has $600,000 in paving rather than the $175 that's normally there.
Right,
That's ARPA funded.
right. Okay, so somebody else is giving us money to pave our streets. Why are we raising our taxes when we have all this other money for the next few years?
You gotta understand, we can't use that money for everything.
I understand that.
Right, but here's another thing too, we are still mandated to raise minimum wage in this city too. So that 46,000 that's there right now, that'll get every employee in the city about $1 raise.
You just gave them a raise last year.
But we have to give them
We
another
have to
raise.
give them another, minimum wage is going on.
I
We're
realize that.
mandated with that, you know,
And-
understand?
And of that 48,000, a significant portion of that is from new buildings in the industrial park, money coming from Pritchard Farms, other buildings in the city. It's not all just existing homes. A lot of I don't know the percentage offhand, but say 60 to 70% is coming from new construction.
What's being constructed that
Well,
is
we're
going to,
in the
you know,
industrial
Pritchard Farm, you
The-
know,
I mean, Elaine told me a little bit ago, one of the buildings over in the industrial park produced $12,000 of that
Mhm.
tax money.
Mhm.
So there's,
so you're kind of running them out of business before they even get going in business by taxing them even more on their real estate.
we're taxing them the same rate that everybody else is getting taxed.
You know, and granted, it's my $35, but there's, you know, 6,000 people here who are also paying $35,000. You know, so I guess what I'm saying is, why raise the taxes when you have all these millions of dollars still available that has yet to be spent on projects that the city doesn't have to pay for anymore? That means you've got a buffer zone, essentially, for the next 2 years.
Well, Lisa, let me ask you, if we look at it that way, then 3 years from now, you won't mind your taxes going up like a quarter?
Talk to me then. Yeah, talk to me then.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
doesn't make sense to do it that way.
You know,
This tax increase on my property is going to cost $10.25 a year, 85 cents a month.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty
well,
sure I can afford that 85 cents a month.
Well, I can't. You know, and there's a lot of people here
Who
Here,
can't
who
afford
can't.
85 cents a month?
Yeah,
That's
but when you've got
surprising. That's
that much
surprising to me.
money coming in,
We have that coming in, but that's earmarked for stuff. We're not there.
that we
We
don't
can't-
have to pay for, or tax for, or
But we-
contribute to.
But we can't just take it and put it in place of stuff in the budget. The budget still exists whether that money's there or not. That's extra projects that the government's asking us to do for stuff. That's the extra paving, you know, on top of what we normally do. The replacing the pump up at the
Piney Dam.
Piney Dam.
Yeah.
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 Replacing the roof at the water treatment plant, stuff like that.
You were gonna do that anyhow.
No, we weren't.
No, we weren't.
We couldn't afford it.
There's lots, almost all this money is stuff that we would have never even thought of doing, had we not got it.
Or we'd had to raise the water rates and sewer rates.
Or the taxes.
Well,
would
you're
go
gonna
up
do that
significantly.
anyhow.
Go up
you know.
significantly. This is not significant.
I just think it's poor timing.
It's important to note that the ARPA funds, as specifically prohibited use, is to offset tax increases.
Specifically prohibited to offset tax increases. So you're still gonna raise taxes whether we like it or not.
And there is still a budget shortfall in the corporate fund, even by maintaining this tax rate, that we would be transferring from our fund balance. It's budgeted $99,860. So without that tax increase, it would require an additional use of our fund balance. Real estate taxes only are used to fund general government services of the corporate fund. They're not used for the water fund, the sewer fund, garbage fund, the Piney surcharge. Those funds have to operate separately, like a private business. Their revenues have to support their activities. Real estate revenue cannot be used to support any of those funds.
So maybe the corporate fund needs to take a haircut. Of $48,000.
Lisa, to put it in perspective, at the water treatment plant, to keep the water treatment plant operational, the HVAC system there needs to be replaced. One HVAC unit this year costs $52,000. So that $48,000, it helps us a lot, whereas to the taxpayers, it's a marginal amount. I don't know if that, for what my input's worth, but.
I'm not for it.
Eric?
announce my name or just start talking?
Announce your name and your address.
Terry McKenzie, 351 Allegheny Street. Hey fellas, I sat right where you sat. I've been insulted tonight already. There's nothing funny about this. End of story. And if we have money now, I just feel very respectfully, I don't think there's respect for the senior citizens. I am one. Just saying what I'm thinking, nice and calm. I see no reason for this, but of course the county and you all are doing it, and that's fine, that's done. But I just feel somebody needs to come up here and say, not everybody in town's for this. And I don't see a thing funny. I was totally retired with a large sum of money. With what's going on with gasoline and everything, I'm going back to work full time at 75 years old. So I don't get the joke. And I want you to know, just because nobody's running against you, don't sit calm, just people just don't want to do anything anymore, and that's sad. That's all I gotta say.
Anyone else? Thank you all for your comments. Hayden, sorry.
You're fine. Give a quick CSO update. So for those of you who may not know, the CSO projects are the combined sewer overflow projects. Currently, a portion of the city's infrastructure is a combined sewer and stormwater system. The CSO projects are designed to separate those. We have two going on at the moment, CSO 9B and CSO 9C. They're both set to restart again this coming Monday. This past week, both 9B and 9C have started staging material and getting crews on site. The work itself will start on Monday. 9B should finish in the June to July timeframe. 9C should finish in spring of 2023. And then finally, 10A, which will be the next phase of the project, will be by Mountain Ridge High School, and it will go out to bid most likely in the winter of 2023. If there are any comments or questions, I'd be happy to ask or answer. But everything's moving along as it should. So,
Anyone?
The 9A, is that the line that goes down in the valley there?
10A?
10A, sorry.
Yes. It basically, where the stormwater ponds are at Mountain Ridge, they're below Washington and McCullough. It'll kind of snake its way through there, pretty much behind all the houses.
That's where the leak was, wasn't it?
It's hard to say.
There's a lot of leaks in that pipe.
Yeah, but that's why we're hitting that one next, is to seal those up and get the infiltration out of that. So
Is that going to require tearing up the wetland?
no,
Or are you
no,
going
we're gonna line the pipe
line it?
to avoid getting in the wetland. So
Anyone else have any questions? Hayden's a wealth of knowledge. All right. Thank you, Hayden.
thank you.
All right. Julie? I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do before we get the proclamation, okay?
Good evening. Sorry I snuck in late. I had technical difficulties. I'm Julie Conway, and I'm a ranger with the Maryland Forest Service. And I'm here tonight to present some things from the Tree City USA program.
Okay. You want to move? Julie, first off, nice to meet you. Becky and I went to Bishop Falls together. So we spent a lot of time together in school, and we did theater together and whatnot. So I hope she's enjoying her retirement.
I
And I
heard
hope you
she's
get to
coming
enjoy
out of
her.
retirement tomorrow to help with the tree planting.
Oh, is she? Oh, great. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Whereas in 1972, Sterling Martin proposed, to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture to present the day of Arbor Day. Whereas this holiday, filled with first called Arbor Day, was first conceived on my glasses are not fogging up on me. So let's do this. Tomorrow, so explain what we're gonna do tomorrow. Let's do it that way. Tomorrow we're gonna be where?
Well, Frost Elementary.
Yeah, that's sort of different,
Yeah.
separate.
So tomorrow's Arbor Day, we're proclaiming that, and then Julie's, to
In
accepting that.
conjunction with Arbor Day. Frostburg has been a Tree City USA for 8 years now, and the Tree City program was started by the Arbor Day Foundation in 1976 as an initiative to try to create a cleaner, greener, healthier America by putting more focus on urban trees. And I think that inherently we understand that trees have benefits, and more science is providing evidence that trees have benefits. And I think they're more noticeable a lot of times in urban areas because canopy cover can easily diminish in urban areas if there is not a conscious effort to plant and maintain trees. And by maintaining its status as a tree city, Frostburg is showing that it is taking that initiative to provide its citizens with the benefits of trees. And to keep its tree city status, Frostburg must have a committee which oversees tree planting and maintenance, have a tree care ordinance to provide guidance for its urban forest, observe Arbor Day each year, which will happen tomorrow, and allot a minimum of $2 per capita each year to urban forestry. Planting and maintaining trees does come with expenses, but it's an investment. It's an investment in the city and its people and creating a better community in which to live. And I know firsthand from doing roadside tree work for the Forest Service that people take urban trees seriously. I don't know how many times I've been looking at a roadside tree and people come out of their house in a half panic because they think I'm going to remove the tree. And I assure them that if the tree's healthy, it's going to stay. If it's not healthy and it does need to be removed, it's going to be replaced. And the only way I can assure them of those things is if there is money set aside in the budget for tree care work. So it is important, and I want to thank and congratulate Frostburg for maintaining its status as a tree city. And the Arbor Day Foundation has sent a tree city flag,
Okay.
and their 8-year designation stickers to put on your sign. Other small things thrown in here.
All right, well, basically, then, as Julie just said, tomorrow we've proclaimed Arbor Day in the city of Frostburg, so this will be something for your office wall, and we certainly appreciate it, and also appreciate being our 8 years of standing tall and growing tall. So, Julie, we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Keep on growing.
Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, moving to new business.
Thank you. This evening, I am formally presenting Ordinance 2022-04 for your consideration. The ordinance includes the operating budget for the City of Frostburg for the year ending June 30, 2023, the schedule of municipal fees, and the proposed allocation of hotel-motel tax revenue to outside organizations. The draft budget was presented to the Mayor and Council last month, and the budget has been discussed in detail at your work session again last week on April 14th. The documents have also been made available to the public. The balanced budget for fiscal year 2023 reports $16.9 million in revenue and expenses. The budget ordinance reflects an increase of $17,250 in expenses compared to the draft budget which was presented last month. The ordinance reflects this increase due to changes in the street department budget. Overall, the budget ordinance reflects an increase of $1.87 million compared to the amended budget for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2022. As mentioned, in the corporate fund, there was an increase in the street department budget compared to the draft budget that was presented last month. This includes salaries for a seasonal employee in the street department, as well as the payroll expenses associated with that additional salaries. There was also an increase of $4,000 in the training expense line item for potential CDL candidates. The only change in the proprietary funds compared to the draft budget that was discussed last month was due to the recalculation of overhead, which resulted in a minimal decrease in the water and the garbage fund budgets. The fiscal year 2023 budget is very similar to prior year's budgets, with the exception of the federal funds under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which we have already discussed this evening. We do frequently use the abbreviation of ARPA to refer to this funding and the projects. In total, the City of Frostburg will receive over $8 million of ARPA funds, which must be obligated by December 31st, 2024, and spent by December 31st, 2026. The 2023 Budget Ordinance includes projects totaling around $2.4 million based on the priorities discussed by the Mayor and Council and the anticipated timing of initial projects requests. The use of ARPA funds is reflected in the Budget Ordinance, and each impacted fund in the special revenue line item, you'll see those account numbers ending in 4317 in each of the impacted funds. Despite this extraordinary influx of federal funds from the ARPA project, the city has been very diligent throughout the budgeting process to carefully monitor spending levels for ongoing operating expenses compared with expected revenue sources, so that the city is well prepared to face the needs without future federal support. We always work to be good stewards of the resources that have been entrusted to the city. Therefore, for the general government operations of the corporate fund, real estate tax revenues continue to be the predominant source of revenue for this purpose, as was discussed in the public hearing this evening. The current year tax rate of 70 cents per $100 of assessed value is the basis for the real estate tax revenue calculation in the Budget Ordinance. Also, I want to highlight that all utility and surcharge rates are budgeted to remain unchanged in the budget for the year ending 2023. The water, sewer, piney surcharge, and garbage funds must all be able to operate similar to a private business, with user fees providing sufficient revenues to meet those expenses. The detail of all the rates and fees may be found in the Schedule of Municipal Fees, which is part of the Budget Ordinance. And also, as mentioned, the allocations from hotel-motel tax revenue to outside organizations are also listed as a separate document, but will be approved as part of the Budget Ordinance. These allocations to outside organizations total $95,000, and they comprise the balance of the contributions/tourism line item that's in the administrative department budget of the corporate fund. So this evening, I respectfully request a motion and a second to approve Ordinance 2022-04 on first reading, and to set the May 19th, 2022 council meeting as an advertised public hearing.
I'll make a motion to approve Ordinance 2022-04 on the first reading. And
Second.
Okay, moved and second. Any public comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
The next ordinance to be introduced tonight is Ordinance 2022-05. The city's purchasing and procurement policies are codified in the city code, and there are certain situations in which the city employees are exempted from doing sealed closed bids in terms of a competitive bidding requirement. And currently there is a threshold for purchases under $3,500 that we do not need to seek more than one bid. And then for purchases between $3,500 and $25,000, we have to get 3 bids at least of a similar product. This has been working for the city. However, with the ARPA funding the city's received, we have to follow the federal procurement guidelines and the city's procurement guidelines, whichever is stricter. So the federal procurement has a micro purchase threshold, which is $10,000, which anything below $10,000 doesn't require anything more than one bid. Because of the difficulty in a lot of public works projects, especially in finding materials in a timely fashion, it would behoove the Public Works Department especially to increase the city's threshold from $3,500 to $10,000, so that when Mr. Lindsey is seeking to buy pipe, or we're working on buying trash cans for Main Street and trying to get 3 quotes for the same exact trash can from 3 different companies, it just proves to be a challenge. So it would be staff's recommendation that threshold is raised from $3,500 to $10,000 to mirror the federal micro purchase threshold in our procurement policy. The threshold of $25,000 would remain the same. Anything that is expected to cost more than $25,000 would be competitively bid through a sealed bid process. Your city attorney, Michael Cohen, did draft this ordinance for your consideration. So at this time, I would ask for a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2022-05 on first reading and set the May 19th council meeting as an advertised public hearing.
Make a motion to accept ordinance 2022-05 on the first reading.
Second.
Moving second. Any public comment?
Will this ordinance have the ability to be revoked after the ARPA funding money has been spent?
The mayor and council can always amend it at any time to be whatever amount that they want it to be.
Anyone else? All in favor? Aye.
LJ?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I'm here this evening to request your approval for an amendment to the fiscal year 2022 fee schedule to include fee increases for certain residential building inspections. For at least the past 8 years, the cost for a single residential construction inspection has been $50. And the fee for a 100 and 200 amp electrical service inspection has been $90. As you're aware, we work with a third-party inspection agency, and Cliff Bennett, our contractor in that agency, is asking for a fee increase on residential construction inspections from $50 per to $65, and for 100 and 200 amp electric service inspections from $90 to $100. Comparatively, across the county, construction inspections run at $75 per, and 100 and 200 amp service inspections are at the same level as $100. Price increases in inspections, like these specific price increases, are far less than the increases we've been seeing elsewhere in terms of supply for construction and labor, and seem appropriate in that manner. And Madam Administrator, if you wouldn't mind just forwarding to page 114 of 134. In the series. Out of all of the fees in our fee schedule, thank you. Residential inspection fees, you'll see here at the top, $65, that's up from $50. And electric service, 100 and 200 amp, $100, that's up from $90. Those are the only two increases we're seeking this evening. If there are any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond. Otherwise, I respectfully would ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022-10.
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2022-10.
Second.
Moving second. Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you, LJ.
Next resolution is to approve a Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, Citizen Participation Plan and Anti-Displacement and Relocation Plan. This was reviewed in your work session. To be able to apply for CDBG funding, the city would need to have a Citizen Participation Plan and a Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan in place. Throughout the CDBG application process, staff will ensure that we are following the provisions of the Citizen Participation Plan, and this project will not displace any residents from their homes, so that would not be applicable to this specific project, but that plan still needs to remain in effect. To apply to CDBG funding, these plans need to be current and they need to be renewed every 5 years. So it's been a few years, and we would just ask that you approve these so that they are in good standing for the upcoming CDBG application. If there's questions, I'd be pleased to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022-11.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-11.
Second.
Moving second. Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next resolution is to accept public infrastructure, which would be the water, sewer, stormwater conveyance system, and street network in the Sand Spring Run Phase 2A subdivision. The deed has not yet been prepared, but it would authorize you accepting that property in the form of a deed, property and easements in the form of a deed when that deed is prepared. Your Director of Public Works has already reviewed the as-bills and has recommended that this infrastructure be accepted. There would be a 1-year warranty period for all work. There is a few punch list items and the top coat of asphalt that has not yet been completed. The 1-year warranty period for that work would not begin until it was completed and accepted by your Director of Public Works. Additionally, this resolution would allow or would authorize me to send a letter to the developer allowing them to reduce their bond amount. They're currently bonded for just over $2 million for construction of all of the infrastructure. It would reduce their bond amount to $300,000, which the city engineer, city attorney, and I feel is adequate to not only complete the outstanding work that's way less than $100,000, but also would protect the city in case any infrastructure failed in the course of that 1-year warranty period. The city, as part of the development agreement, also had an engineer that worked for the city do routine construction inspections to ensure that everything was being constructed as designed. If there's any questions, I'd be pleased to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022-12.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-12.
Second.
Moving second. Any public comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
The last resolution for your consideration tonight is the acquisition of property located just west of your water treatment plant. Several years ago, the city identified this property as a property that we would need an easement for to replace the water line that conveys the water from the raw water dam to the water treatment plant. The line there has had several failures over the course of the years, and that project is a priority. This property became part of an estate, and the city was made aware that the owners or heirs were interested in selling. and the city approached them and were able to negotiate a purchase price of $50,000. This property would not only be just for a water line replacement project, but at some point in time, it's been identified that constructing a new water tank would be preferred over maintaining the raw water dam, and this property would be ideal for that. It's it's over an acre in size. It's 4 acres in size, I believe, right along Route 40. If there's questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to purchase this property for Resolution 2022-13.
We'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-13.
Second.
Moving second, any public comments?
With the purchase of this property, assuming it goes through this year, would ARPA funding help pay for the new water line?
Yes.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Chief?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Sir.
I have a report for the month of March 2022 for the Police Department. We had 621 incidents compared to 960 the year before. Various incidents, as always, 13 arrests of different types, 90 parking tickets, various calls for service, well-being checks, emergency petitions, 22 disturbances of various types, which can include assaults, domestic disturbances, domestic assault, public disturbances, a pretty wide variety of things there. Several motor vehicle crashes. We're at our schools every day with traffic details, 1 DUI, and 62 traffic stops. We are always out trying to do good, positive things with the community, trying to prevent crime, trying to build good relationships and represent our city well. So a couple things we've been doing in no particular order. Last weekend we had we were kindly allowed to come to the Easter egg hunt by Director Vaught and the Parks and Recreation crew. So we had a great time at the Armory with the children there, and then we partnered up with the fire department, and we did the police and fire department Easter Bunny escort through our neighborhoods. And my wife was kind enough to be the Easter Bunny again this year, so we had a great time all together. Just don't tell any of the kids. We're going to keep that to ourselves. So we had a lot of fun doing that. We did a traffic enforcement grant from the Maryland Highway Safety Office, concentrated on cell phone and seatbelt enforcement last week. So we did 2 4-hour blocks, made 21 traffic stops, several cell phone violation citations, seatbelt citations, 1 suspended driver, 1 red light ticket, several warnings, and a variety of other things. So that is overtime funding from the Maryland Highway Safety Office for us to have somebody work extra specifically to enforce those types of laws. So they pay the officer's salary, they pay for the overtime. The city covers some nominal costs for like workers' comp and those sorts of things that go with it, but that's a good program. We are looking at doing several prescription take-back events here before the end of the grantor's fiscal year by the end of June. So the next one we have scheduled is during the Arts Walk from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in partnership with and in front of the Frostburg Elks. We'll have our tent set up, our officers there, and handouts, educational materials, those sorts of things. If anybody would like to have us at your organization or event, we're always looking for new creative ideas where we can set up and collect prescription medications. So it's good to dispose of them safely, good to partner with our community, and good for the health department to see those things happening. So I'm always welcoming ideas, always appreciative if you have any there. And lastly, I just want to thank our colleagues at the street department for the great teamwork Monday when we had the extreme snow, sleet, and ice storm. I don't know that I've ever seen one come that quickly and create such chaos in a short time. All of Allegheny County was basically gridlocked. We spent all afternoon just getting cars unstuck, and the street department was out and about plowing and working hard. So we'd be going one way to get somebody unstuck, they'd be coming the other way with the plow or the truck or whatever. So that was wild. But thank you, Commissioner Ritchie and your crew, and Shane for the great partnership there.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it very much. So that's all I have. That would conclude my report. I'm certainly glad to answer any questions or elaborate further.
you have any questions for the chief? My chief, again, thank you for today.
Oh,
The Foundation for Frostburg was very impressed. Had a very good time checking out the digs.
thank you, sir. It was an honor. I appreciate you having me do it.
No,
Sir.
All right. And finally, open public comment. Frostburg citizens wishing to make a comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the official record.
Matt McMorrin, representing the fire department. This is small potatoes compared to what you all do here tonight and on a weekly basis, but there's been a lot of traffic in town, lane closures, and the importance of the fire department members to be notified about those street closures is monumental. Most people might not get it, and when these flagmen see a fire truck coming with the lights and sirens, they know to turn that to slow and get traffic moving. What they don't know are the members who are responding from their house to the station to then get the fire truck out. So we have a plan in place, and I just want to thank LJ, I think Elizabeth, certainly Chief Costello and his PCOs, because they are now getting the notification out first thing in the morning, so then I can notify our members, so they're not taking Grant Street and take a different route to the fire station, or our fire trucks responding to a certain incident to take a different route. So again, it's small potatoes, but in the big scheme in our world, it's very, very important. So it seems like it's working, and I just want to thank you and anybody else involved. Thank you.
Matt, thank you. Appreciate that. Anyone else?
With the gas line coming through Main Street, it's a very important point. And I think I asked Ms. Stallman about one-way streets temporarily, and that got shut down because it's a state highway. Can we do a different way of directing traffic so that, you know, emergency crews and what have you can get through faster?
They are bringing in flagging crews that are certified by the state or federal agents. Is it state or federal, Hayden? That
State.
they have state flagger training certification, and they have state flagger flagger manager training.
Okay.
And those people do flagging every day, and they are being inspected by the state to make sure that they are flagging and have the road controls done properly. So I don't think we're in a position to change state regulations.
Okay. In the license.
Really?
Okay. Good. In the license fees, you have a chicken license fee. With the HPI virus going through the country in rampant order, are we doing anything about checking the folks who have chickens in their backyards for HPIV? Which is highly pathogenic avian.
USDA and Health Department issue.
Okay.
There is a requirement with our permit that the permittee also has the USDA permit, and that's where that's taken care of.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Terry?
I apologize for getting up early, but I can't get up easy.
You're fine.
I want to note about the chickens in your residential area. When I first moved to Allegheny Street, there was 3 coyotes right at that chicken pen. Cindy Bridges' swimming pool was right above it. So the chickens in the city are not, that's fine. You don't think about what they draw to the pen. We had 3 coyotes there. Just saying. Okay, here's one thing. I got 3 things on my mind. You're gonna find me not screaming. I'm a senior citizen person. I'm in pastoral care, and I want low to middle income people and so forth heard. The one question Commissioner Ritchie in the street department, with garbage or snow or whatever, those men can't do any better other than, I don't know, moving our houses or something. So I want to give you all the praise we can give you. I'm not just speaking for me. I'm out talking to a lot of people. I do have a question now. paving date? I know we got all the bumps. Do we have any idea when we will see street repair? I don't care if you tell me it's July. We just need to know what we're doing.
Right, there is a timeline out there, I guess, Terry. It's kind of general though, but we're looking at May to get our crews out, street department out, and get them to start patching and redoing some of the things around the smaller jobs that need done. But as far as the major paving goes, it's not gonna happen until June or July timeframe.
But now I assume all the dips and everything, all the way up, will be at least made level.
All that's gonna be ground out, redone, everything,
Okay,
all right?
because I mean to tell you, pounding what's that, and your men took a beating with that snow. That was horrible what they had to, remember I was a commissioner, I know what they had to go through.
No, I understand. My street's in disarray too, so and I
Yeah.
know a lot of
Oh,
people
we are, absolutely.
But there's a plan out there. You know, the plan's there to get everything fixed.
Okay.
Just
And-
need some
And
time.
this, just another comment, the work session is at 3 p.m. And I feel 3 p.m. makes it very difficult for anybody working to attend. Just my opinion. If you're working, it's pretty hard to be there at 3 o'clock. Just, again, my opinion. And the other question I have, the Center Street project that's starting soon, how from day one would a citizen track that process? Is it gonna be online or?
Are you talking in terms of the mixed-use development?
Well, you know, the whole process, from where it starts, how it's going, who's acquiring what and doing what. I just think that it's something that we taxpayers should be able to see.
I understand that, certainly. Right now, the status is there are 2 to 3 developers that are going to be submitting proposals, and a group of economic development professionals in the county and representing the state and university as well will make a recommendation based on that proposal to the mayor and council, and that they'll probably have about, if the mayor and council elect to enter into like an exclusive negotiating period, it'll probably be, I'd guess, 6 months to a year before the city would actually sell that property. But several years ago, the city did put together like a project update, and I think your request would warrant us doing another one and putting that on the city website, so we can work on
And also, I'm not
that.
saying anything confidential. If you got 2 or 3 companies looking, we don't need to know that. We need to know who's got it.
Yeah.
And a good example is what went on in Cumberland. Remember, I'm a 25-year real estate agent. I guess that pretty much covers everything for
Okay.
tonight.
Thanks for coming up.
Thanks for the
Thanks, sir.
respect.
Okay.
Hello, I am a representative from FSU TV3, Frostburg State University's Educational Access Channel. We are trying to conduct a community-wide survey just so we can help to understand viewers' opinions and reach out to more people that could actually access the channel, since it is through the Comcast cable, as well as getting feedback so we can help adjust and adapt our programs. So I am here today just to provide access to that survey. We have flyers here that have the website to take that, if you'd like me to go ahead and pass them out.
Sure, absolutely. Go for it.
Would you like us to post that or make them available to the public that comes in?
That would be great.
Okay,
Sure.
we'd be happy to.
That would help us a lot too. It really would.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we're adjourned.
It's still working.
Thank you, LJ.
My pleasure,
Have a good evening. Elaine, thank you. Hayden, thank you.
Thanks, Hayden. Elaine, thank you.
Julie, thanks for coming up. Helping us along. It's been fun these last couple of years, it really has. Yeah. So where's home for you? Where do you come from? Bedford. Okay. Where do you live now? Still live in Bedford?
No, we're gonna go close to the
Right. You're 220 or? My family out that way. I have a couple friends that live. Unfortunately, just right over the line.
How far is 220 from?
It's like 3 miles.
Centerville?
South
South Centerville. Live right. Evans, you know them? David Sandy? They live about 2 miles up.
All right. Kentuckyville, Railroad, you live right there.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, hopefully the weather will cooperate tomorrow. It won't be snow. Like a hole.
Good night.
All be good.
Get some rest.
How long you been